Space Shuttle Discovery is one of the 3 orbiters of NASA's Space Shuttle program and the third of 5 built. Its maiden flight, STS-41D, flew from August 30 to September 5, 1984. Over 27 years of service, it launched and landed 39 times, gathering more flight time than any other spacecraft to date. Discovery became the 3rd operational orbiter to enter service, preceded by Columbia and Challenger. It embarked on its last mission, STS-133, on February 24, 2011 and touched down for the final time at Kennedy Space Center on March 9, having spent a cumulative total of almost a full year in space. Discovery performed both research and International Space Station assembly missions. It also carried the Hubble Space Telescope into orbit. Discovery was the first operational shuttle to be retired, followed by Endeavour and then Atlantis. History: the spacecraft takes its name from 4 British ships of exploration named Discovery, primarily HMS Discovery, one of the ships commanded by Captain James Cook during his 3rd and final major voyage from 1776 to 1779. Others include Henry Hudson's Discovery, which was used in 1610–1611 to search for a northwest passage. This ship has previously been used in the 1607 founding of Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement in what was to become the United States. HMS Discovery, one of the ships which took Captain George Nares's British Arctic expedition of 1875–1876 to the North Pole. And RRS Discovery, a Royal Geographical Society research vessel which, under the command of Captain Robert Falcon Scott and Ernest Shackleton, was the main ship of the 1901–1904 Discovery expedition to Antarctica, which is still preserved as a museum in Dundee, Scotland. Discovery launched the Hubble Space Telescope and conducted the 2nd and 3rd Hubble service missions. It also launched a Ulysses probe and 3 TDRS satellites. Twice Discovery was chosen as the return-to-flight orbiter, first in 1988 after the loss of Challenger in 1986, and then again for the twin return-to-flight missions in July 2005 and July 2006 after the Columbia disaster in 2003. Project Mercury astronaut John Glenn, who was 77 at the time, flew with Discovery on STS-95 in 1998, making him the oldest person to go into space. Had the cancelled STS-62A mission from Vandenberg Air Force Base in 1986 for the United States Department of Defense gone ahead, Discovery would have flown it. The prospect of shuttle launches from Vandenberg was abandoned in the aftermath of Challenger. Discovery was retired after completing its final mission, STS-133 on March 9, 2011. The spacecraft is now on display in Virginia at the Stephen F. Voorhees Center, an annex of the Smithsonian Institution's National Air and Space Museum. Construction milestones, upgrades and features. Discovery weighed 6,870 pounds less than Columbia when it was brought into service due to optimizations determined during the construction and testing of Enterprise, Columbia and Challenger. Part of these weight optimizations included the greater use of quilted AFRSI blankets rather than the white LRSI tiles on the fuselage, and the use of graphite epoxy instead of aluminum for the payload bay doors and some of the wing spars and beams. Upon its delivery to the Kennedy Space Center in 1983, Discovery was modified alongside Challenger to accommodate the liquid-fueled Centaur G booster, which had been planned for use beginning in 1986 but was cancelled in the wake of the Challenger disaster. Beginning in late 1995, the orbiter underwent a 9-month orbiter maintenance down period in Palmdale, California. This included outfitting the vehicle with a 5th set of cryogenic tanks and an external airlock to support missions to the International Space Station. As with all the orbiters, it could be attached to the top of specialized aircraft and did so in June 1996 when it returned to the Kennedy Space Center, and later in April 2012 when sent to the Voorhees Center, riding piggyback on a modified Boeing 747. After Streets 105, Discovery became the first of the orbiter fleet to undergo orbiter major modification period at the Kennedy Space Center. Work began in September 2002 to prepare the vehicle for return to flight. This included scheduled upgrades and additional safety modifications. Discovery is 6 pounds heavier than Atlantis and 363 pounds heavier than Endeavour. Decommissioning and display. Discovery was decommissioned on March 9, 2011. NASA offered Discovery to the Smithsonian Institution's National Air and Space Museum for public display and preservation, after a month-long decontamination process, as part of the national collection. Discovery replaced Enterprise in the Smithsonian's display at the Stephen F. Voorhees Center in Virginia. Discovery was transported to Washington Dulles International Airport on April 17, 2012, and was transferred to the Voorhees on April 19 where a welcome ceremony was held. Afterwards, at around 5:30 p.m., Discovery was rolled to its final wheel stop in the Voorhees Center. Flights. By its last mission, Discovery had flown 149 million miles in 39 missions, completed 5,830 orbits, and spent 365 days in orbit in over 27 years. Discovery flew more flights than any other orbiter shuttle, including 4 in 1985 alone. Discovery flew all 3 return-to-flight missions after the Challenger and Columbia disasters, STS-26 in 1988, STS-114 in 2005, and STS-121 in 2006. Discovery flew the anti-penultimate mission of the Space Shuttle program, STS-133, having launched on February 24, 2011. Endeavour flew STS-134 and Atlantis performed STS-135, NASA's last Space Shuttle mission. On February 24, 2011, Space Shuttle Discovery launched from Kennedy Space Center's Launch Complex 39A to begin its final orbital flight. Notable missions: STS-41D, Space Shuttle Discovery's maiden space flight with the second American woman in space, Judith Resnick. Streets 51D, carried first incumbent United States Member of Congress into space, Senator Jake Garn. Streets 26, first return to flight after Challenger disaster, STS-31, launch of the Hubble Space Telescope. Streets 48, launch of the Upper Atmosphere Research Satellite. Streets 60, first Russian launched in an American spacecraft, STS-63, first female shuttle pilot Eileen Collins. STS-95, second flight of John Glenn, who was 77 years of age at the time, the oldest man in space and third incumbent member of Congress to enter space, STS-96, first orbiter shuttle and first mission flight to dock with the International Space Station. Streets 92, the 100th Space Shuttle mission. Streets 114, second return-to-flight missions after Columbia disaster, STS-116, first nighttime launch of a space shuttle since the Columbia disaster. Last shuttle launch from LC-39B, STS-131, longest mission for this orbiter with 15 days to its credit, STS-133, final mission for this space shuttle. Flight listing: a Euro longest shuttle mission for Discovery, a Euro shortest shuttle mission for Discovery, mission and tribute insignias. Flow directors: the flow director was responsible for the overall preparation of the shuttle for launch and processing it after landing, and remained permanently assigned to head the spacecraft's ground crew while the astronaut flight crews changed for every mission. Each shuttle's flow director was supported by a vehicle manager for the same spacecraft. Space Shuttle Discovery's flow directors were, until January 1991, John J. Tiptalon Jr., 01/1991 a Euro 09/1992, John C. Chris Van Ire, 09/1992 a Euro 10/1996, David A. King, 10/1996 a Euro 05/2000, W. Scott Silento, 12/2000 a Euro 03/2011, Stephanie S. Stulson, Gallery. See also: List of human space flights, List of Space Shuttle crews, List of Space Shuttle missions, Timeline of Space Shuttle missions. References: This article incorporates a public domain material from websites or documents of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. External links: Mission Summary Archive, Return to flight mission Streets 114 and STS-121, Shuttle Orbiter Discovery, night launch of the Space Shuttle Discovery, Discovery on servicing Mission 3A at ESA Hubble site, pictures of preparations for a launch of Discovery, a Space Shuttle's final rollout. A Euro slideshow by Life magazine, April 16, 2007, Consolidated Launch Manifest, Space Shuttle Flights and ISS Assembly Sequence. Transition and retirement, high-res spherical panoramas of the processing,